Welcome to Sib Spot. Today's featured Reddit stories are from PettyRevenge. Story 1 today is by Brilliant Break 1245. The time I got $400 revenge on an abusive customer. I posted this in Tales from Your Server and was told to post it here too. Burner account because even though this was a decade ago, I was 21 working my way through college, I'm not risking any trouble. 10 years ago, I worked at a now defunct restaurant in the Baltimore Harbor. We were a fairly busy restaurant, especially for brunch, but unfortunately, most of our front of house staff was incredibly unreliable. The day was July 5th, which was a Sunday, and we expected to be incredibly busy because it was a holiday weekend. When I showed up, only 3 of our 7 servers, 1 of our 2 bartenders, and half the expected amount of back of house had come into shift. So as you can expect, I was swamped with tables. What was supposed to be just the patio section of 6 tables, I now had the patio and part of the inside, a combined 12 tables section. Honestly, it was heck, but I was somehow keeping up with everything. My guests could tell that we were understaffed, and most were pretty understanding that I wasn't as attentive as I'd like to be. I think because they saw me running around so much. Anyways, it's towards the end of the shift and I get a table of 3 gentlemen who from the jump seemed like they were going to be a pretty needy table. I go over, greet them, and ask if they wanted to start with drinks. They said they'd need a minute. Maybe 3 minutes pass, I come back, and before I can ask about drinks, they tell me I took too long, and then they ask for my name and tell me it was rude that I didn't introduce myself by name. If I wanted better tips, I should start doing so. For context, for whatever reason, our owner didn't want us introducing ourselves by name, only as their server, but could tell them if they asked. I told them this policy, but happily provided my name. I asked if they wanted to put in some drinks, and they obliged. I ring in the drinks, and about 5 minutes later, they wave me down, and before the drinks are delivered, they tell me they all decided they changed their minds and wanted completely different drinks. I had to run over to our one bartender for the entire restaurant and tell her not to make the drinks while she was halfway done. She was understandably pissed. I put in the new drinks and then go back to see if they're ready for apps and entrees. They say yes and order. 5 minutes later, a man from the table comes to talk to me while I'm at another table, and they again decide they changed their minds on their orders and wanted to change the appetizers. I had to excuse myself from the other table, flag down the chef, and explain the situation. If you remember, the back of house is also extremely short-staffed, so he is also rightfully furious. So we now have a pissed server, a pissed bartender, and a pissed chef. My service manager calls for hands, and I bring over their appetizers. 5 minutes later, their entrees come out. As I check to see if they have everything and everything is okay, they tell me it's not. They were upset the entrees came too close to the appetizers, so now they want them comped and a round of free drinks for the hassle. I told them I'd speak to my manager. I explained to my manager, and now she's angry too. She goes over to talk to the table, and when she comes back, she says to comp 1 app, but nothing else. The last piece of the puzzle has been collected. Everyone now hates this table. At this point, I've had enough and stayed clear of this table as much as I could other than to fill waters and pre-bus. Towards the end of the service, one of the men asks me how long I've been doing this. I told him, and he told me I should quit and find something else to do because I was really bad at it. I just laughed it off, walked away, printed their check, and dropped it off. I had my manager run the card, but I didn't want to go back. After they left, I went to pick up the check, and of course, they stiffed me. They left me $2 on a $130 bill. As I started clearing the rest of the table and the napkins, I saw that this man left his Audi key fob under his napkin. I quickly put it in my pocket to bring to the host when I had time. A few hours later, the host got a call from the guy asking if we had found the key. The host said nothing had turned up yet, but she'd checked with your server. Apparently, when she did this, the guest made a comment about how I probably stole it because I looked like the type. As the host told me this, I just kind of lost it internally. I told her I hadn't seen it and a plan was devised. I proceeded to walk to the back of the restaurant, out the back door, and toss the keys into the Baltimore Harbor. Not my proudest moment, but after all said and done, I think it was well deserved. And man, was it satisfying. Not your proudest moment, but deserved. Some people are just flat out jerks, and there's nothing you can do about it. They're always just going to be jerks, and they think it's funny. These guys were absolutely of the degenerate type. Our next story today is by CCR76. Got revenge and they'll never know. This is from many years ago when I was a retail salesperson in a jewelry store in a shopping mall. Really happened, a favorite memory. Our assistant manager, let's call him Jerry, sold a fancy crystal decanter set to a couple who was going to give it as a wedding gift. I was within earshot most of the transaction, which took a long time and featured the husband being a jerk to Jerry the whole time. Condescending, demanding, demeaning, the whole works. Jerry was totally professional, kept his cool, remained cheerful and obliging through all the abuse. At the end of the transaction, he asked if they would like complimentary gift wrapping. Customer agreed. Jerry took the box into the back room and did a spectacular wrapping job. Went all out with luxury ribbon, silver metallic textured paper, the works. Customers left. Jerry smiled and waved goodbye. When they were gone, he was still smiling, and I asked why he was so cheerful after that experience. Jerry said, "Oh, it's fine," and held up the price tag gun and smiled. The decanter set had cost around $150. This was 1978, so maybe $500 in today's dollars. Jerry had removed the original price tag. There was one price for the whole set, but then stuck new ones on the bottom of each piece in the set. Something like $17.77 on the decanter and $3.77 on each glass. Then wrapped them all nice and pretty. He said, "And the beauty of it is, they'll never know," and gave a satisfied laugh. Honestly, if the husband was being a jerk, it sounds like they might be the kind of people that want to have expensive tags left on the gift when it's being wrapped. You always pull the price tag off something, unless you're a jerk and it's super expensive and you want them to know that you spent a whole bunch on their gift. So it's hilarious that he found a way to get back at them, and he's going to create resentment in a friend or family member when they get it as a gift at the wedding, who's not even present. No pun intended with the use of the word present. Our last story today is by Unlucky Professor 798. She stole my snack. I swapped it spicy. We've got a snack thief at work. Fridge is shared, so stuff goes missing sometimes, but mine kept vanishing. Always the chips, never the sandwich, never the fruit, just the snack. At first I thought maybe someone grabbed it by mistake, but it kept happening. Same brand, same time of day, and I'm 99% sure it was one specific coworker who always stayed late and forgot her lunch. So I grabbed a bag of ghost pepper chips, a PAQUI, and emptied them into the usual chip bag. Sealed it up nice and neat, stuck it in my lunchbox like nothing changed. Around 1 p.m. I hear this loud coughing fit in the break room. Like full-on choking, water being poured, someone trying not to die. She comes back red-faced, watery eyes, and totally in silence. Didn't even look at me. Sat at her desk the rest of the day not saying a word. I nearly choked on my food trying not to laugh. Haven't lost a snack since. I've never had somebody at work steal my food. And it would be absolutely infuriating if somebody did. You prepare your lunch the night before, you have this little bag of chips and somebody steals it every day from you? That's just such crappy behavior. Why do that? Why not just buy your own bag of chips? I don't know. Some people, I guess, are also kind of poor. So if she was really hurting for cash, I could understand her needing food, but just because you stay late at work and you have nothing to eat and you don't want to leave work and go grab something doesn't mean you should steal from somebody else. That's just crazy that people do that. But it apparently happens a lot more frequently than I know. Our stories for today have come to a close. If you enjoy this content, please click like or subscribe. It doesn't cost anything to do either of those, and it helps my channel reach more people and the YouTube algorithm. Until we meet again, have a spicy day.